Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Heather Rhenee. Thank you for continuing to be on this ride to create a community for all of us so that we can have, more open discussions and open forum and more support for people dealing with infertility, IVF, and NICU life, everything in between and after. I do want to make a disclaimer, like I do in every video. I do have a 1-year-old. You will hear him in the background. I'm not going to edit it out. This is my life. Without further ado, let's continue, you all. Buckle your seatbelts. This video will be full of facts. It will be full of, it's lots of information. I'm not gonna lie, but it's very helpful information, stuff that I wish I would have known ahead of time, things that I figured out during our journey, but I think that you all will really enjoy. I do know that in our last video we discussed how we came to the decision to seek medical help, and I ended the video with a promise of sharing with you all the tests that were suggested for us to use for our particular case. Before I discuss the testing process, I wanted to discuss the definition of infertility. What is infertility? Because some people might not fully understand, and I just wanted to introduce some helpful facts. So, what exactly is infertility? When you look it up on most sites, it's defined as the inability to conceive after 1 year of regular unprotected intercourse. Now, remember, previously we discussed that everyone doesn't always get pregnant within the first year of trying to get pregnant. So that definition it's not exact. It's not a matter of fact. Remember, it can take up to 2 years to be able to conceive, but anything further than that, you should definitely seek help. You can always seek help before then. And remember, those statistics are regarding healthy couples that don't have any medical issues or anything else that could be infecting their fertility. Infecting, not infecting. You're not sick. Affecting. Come on, Heather, get it together. And just so you know, when I'm discussing all of these things, I'm not just referring to women. It's regarding men and women. So yeah, this is going to be a lot to take in. Like I said, maybe you should get a pen and paper, screen record, write down this stuff, mark down the timestamps, so you can come back and rewatch what I'm about to say. It's going to be very informal. Sorry, my son. But I truly hope that this can help someone take the steps to possibly understand what can be causing their struggles. I'm sorry if you see me moving crazy. It's my son. Okay, so what are some things that can cause infertility? It can result from hormonal imbalances, things that can cause hormonal imbalances include irregular menstruation cycles or lack of ovulation in women due to conditions like PCOS or thyroid disorders. And if you didn't know, so menstrual cycle. Maybe I was a little slow, but before I really started deep diving into all of this, I never fully understood what menstrual cycle meant. I thought menstrual cycle meant when a woman bleeds. But really, the menstrual cycle is so the average menstrual cycle for a healthy woman lasts for 28 days. That doesn't mean just bleeding. It just means the menstrual cycle in general, which includes the ability to possibly get pregnant. within your menstrual cycle. So in your menstrual cycle, you have your bleeding days, which lasts anywhere between 3 to 7 days, between heavy and light, and ovulation, which usually occurs 14 days after your menstruational period. And then altogether, that stuff is called a menstruation cycle. It's just menstruation 101, ladies and fellas. Y'all need to know about this too. They should have educated us more about this, because what? I was like, oh, okay. I could seriously do an entire series about menstruation facts, and I might do that. I think I might do that, but I don't want to get off on a tangent. We're definitely not educated enough on the menstruation cycle. I know for the longest it was considered taboo, which I think is crazy now that I know what I know, but yeah, okay. To continue on more things that can cause infertility issues. So in men and women, low testosterone levels can cause infertility. In men, sperm production issues, which can affect sperm quality and quantity, and I will discuss that more later on. Imbalances in other hormones such as prolactin and cortisol can help disrupt reproductive function in both men and women. And reproductive disorders, genetic factors, or lifestyle choices like I stated earlier, PCOS, endometriosis, and I can spell all this out somewhere up here so that you can pause this video, write it down, be able to look it up to see the symptoms and things to see if you possibly have it. But you always need to seek a healthcare professional their advice to see if you have any of these things. Poor sperm development in men, inherited chromosomal abnormalities. Also, low sperm count can be inherited. Like if your father and that father, and it's not, for so long, especially back in the days before there was technology and things like that, a lot of the times women were blamed for infertility. If there was an issue, it was always the woman's fault. It was never the man's fault. When a lot of times it could have been the man having a low sperm count. And that's not me to play blame game, because you shouldn't blame. It shouldn't be a blame thing, but it's a fact that women were just, oh, something's wrong with you, when it was an all-around factor. Smoking, tobacco, and excessive drinking can cause infertility. Working or living in an environment with high exposure to toxins and pollution, like if you work in a factory that has a lot of toxins and pollutions, or you just live in a certain area that's just really polluted, it can definitely cause infertility issues. It almost feels like sometimes in lower income areas where they release certain pollutants and toxins, it can most definitely be affecting fertility on purpose. I don't know. That might be something that I can discuss in a different video another time, but yeah. Obesity and poor diet can cause infertility. Something that a lot of people, I think, can struggle with, and it's really unfortunate, but it is definitely a factor that can cause a lot of issues. I had no idea that it can affect your fertility too. Please forgive my son in the background. I'm not editing it out. He's just here, okay? I know that you guys are sick of me, but stay with me. I only have a few more things to discuss, and I will get to the types of tests that you can take, the types of tests that I took to determine that I needed to go a step further within my infertility journey. So if you watched the previous video, when I mentioned STIs, I said that I would talk about it more in depth in the next video. Well, that's this moment. And I really, really, really want to put an emphasis on this, because I was in college once. And even if you never went to college, you've been young before, you've been around people that were not getting tested and were having unprotected sex. And it's really risky for more than one reason. People are always like, oh, you can get pregnant. Oh, you can get pregnant. You can get an STI or an STD, and they can affect you in more ways than one. Having a prolonged, untreated STI is one of the top leading factors that can cause infertility. So if you are experiencing infertility, possibly, or you're unable to get pregnant and you've never been tested, but you've had unprotected sex, go get tested. You don't have to tell people, that's what you're going to get tested for. Do it for yourself. I've never had to deal with this in particular regarding my infertility, but when I found out about it, it really blew my mind, because I know how some people are living out there, and it's a really unfortunate thing. And because it's so taboo to talk about and nobody really, discusses things like that, people, they don't know the facts. So yeah, I'm not gonna go on a tangent about it. But if you or yourself, you know somebody who's had STIs that have been untreated, and you're, on here seeing how you could possibly have infertility issues, and this could be you, go get tested. Okay. So some of the STIs that can cause infertility, if not treated: chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and HIV/AIDS. There are more, but those are the main ones that people go untreated without. Go through life and not get treated. I'm not laughing at the fact. I'm just laughing at my tongue tie and my son and his cameo. Yeah. Medical conditions that can cause infertility. These that I'm stating are just the top ones. It's not limited to this, but pelvic inflammatory disease, which, that can be a result from infections following childbirth, miscarriage, or abortion. And it can lead to scarring and damage of the reproductive organs, which can cause infertility. Endometriosis, which is also inflammation and scarring in the uterus. Those things can be diagnosed by your OBGYN. Autoimmune disorders, things like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, things like that can affect your fertility. If that's something that you have, talk to your why do I keep saying Medicare? Talk to your medical provider to see if this could possibly be something that's affecting your fertility and what you can do about it. And last but not least, cancer and its treatments. Like I stated before, some cancer and cancer treatments such as chemotherapy and radiation therapy can impair fertility by damaging reproductive organs. Honestly, a lot of things can affect hormone levels. So it's just important to talk to your doctor. Make sure you're always getting your blood work done to get this stuff tested. Okay, now why you came here, to know what test that I took, and what you could possibly take to check for your fertility levels. And honestly, these these two main tests that I took in the beginning, anyone can take them at any stage, whether they're ready to have kids tomorrow or they're like, I'm not ready to be a parent yet, but I still would like to check my fertility. I got 3 main hormones checked, and I got my fallopian tubes checked to make sure that there was no scarring and there was no blockage. So the 3 main hormones that I got checked, and I will write these down in the description below, because I don't want you having to figure out you have to spell these things or anything. But I got my FSH level checked, which determines ovarian reserve and egg supply. I got my AMH checked, which checks for the pituitary gland, like making sure that hormone is released properly for stimulating egg maturity, because only mature eggs can be fertilized and become embryos. And my estrogen or E2 levels, which can determine how many follicles you have. And follicles are basically the little baskets that hold your eggs. Those are the 3 main hormones that I got tested via blood work. And as far as my tubes, I got something called a HSG test, which is basically where they inject dye down into your tubes and uterus area to check for blockage and things like that. It sounds worse than it is. It can be a little painful, but it's really quick and it's really necessary. I will put that test name in the description box below, because honestly, the full word for it, I can't pronounce, and I'm not gonna try. So for the other things that I mentioned above that could cause infertility, most of those things can be checked with blood work. It's a hormone thing. Whether it's a PCOS or thyroid disorder, it's all blood work. And of course, like I said, with the sperm production, it's for men, getting that physical check and giving a semen sample. And full, transparency and facts regarding semen. Those of you who have seen semen, just so you know, what you're seeing, what comes out, is not the semen. Most of that is just junk. Most of it is trash. The amount of semen that's in that, what you see, is such a small amount. It's wild. Thank you, Jet, for your input. I thought I'd put that out there. My test revealed that I had something called DOR, or diminished ovarian reserve, and the way that I knew that I had diminished ovarian reserve, y'all, I ended up finding out. I ended up finding out on my own before I talked to my doctor, because we have something called My Chart, where your results are put online before you talk to your doctor. Sometimes you can pull it up and see it. And I called my OBGYN, and I was bawling. I was in the car with my partner, and I was bawling because I was like, this can't be right. It has to be exaggeration. It's Google. It's wrong. And I called my doctor, and I was like, please tell me I'm wrong. And she said, no, it's Google, for a change, it's right. And you need to go to a specialist. You need to go to an infertility specialist. And that alone was such a changing and turning factor, to hear that it's out of my hands. Like, you have to go next step up. Like, I have infertility. Something's wrong. Like, my partner took the semen analysis. Everything was perfect. Everything was perfect for his stuff. I was the only one that received these results, and the emotions that I felt, I'll discuss with you all in the next video, as well as the next steps that we took after my OBGYN gave us this prognosis. But I hope that you hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I do hit upload the next video. I want you to continue on this journey with me. I want to continue to build this community. Make sure you comment below on anything that you want to talk about further, anything that you enjoyed about this video. I really love this, y'all. This is something that I enjoy doing. And like I said, I hope that you continue to want to stick around. Like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, peace.